Well, folks, there is one thing that you can absolutely count on, and that is that Donald Trump will never be held to the same standard as other presidents. When it comes to MAGA, they will find a way to justify this dude, they will find a way to give this dude a pass, and they will find a way to sweep everything right straight under the rug. And for 4 years, one of their main, probably the main talking point they had was Joe Biden's health and Joe Biden's age. Joe Biden was too old to be president, even though Donald Trump's the same age now. It's like they sat there the entire time and they talked about Joe Biden's health. And I said, yes, Joe Biden is an elderly man. Joe Biden is growing old right in front of our faces. We're watching Joe Biden grow old in public. And as people grows old in public, yeah, they do slow down and they do trip and fall and they do all those things. Those things happen. And I always said it would be different if MAGA had have ran J.D. Vance. You know, well, how old is he? 41, 42-year-old, something like that, early 40s. I mean, if it was J.D. Vance they were running, that'd be different. But they're running Donald Trump. And every time he comes out in public these days, after he went missing for several days, when he returns and comes back into public, he does not look the same. So why isn't he held to the same standard? Why are the people who spent every day, where is Jake Tapper at this particular moment when you see Donald Trump coming out and looking like this? Now, I want to make one thing perfectly clear with what I'm doing here. I am in no way mocking or making fun of Donald Trump or his health. I have a father who has had many strokes. I have a mother who has had many strokes. And I've seen both my father and my mother's mouth look the same way. Now, some people are saying, well, Brando, you found a freeze frame of his face, and he could have just been making that face at that particular moment in time. I'll give you that, but how do you explain this? Here he is at the 9/11 memorial, and the dude is just literally sitting here looking like he looks.
Chief Marvin Roger Woods, United States Navy retired. Sandra D. Teague. Lieutenant Carl W. Tepe.
Now, somewhere is going to be the MAGA trolls making an excuse for that. And I'm not trying to do a bunch of whataboutisms here, but I just know for sure that if that was Joe Biden, they'd be losing their minds and Joe Rogan would talk 3 hours about it. So if the health of a president is one of your main concerns, then why aren't you concerned, especially if this is the guy that's leading your movement, leading your party? If he's the guy that's supposed to be in there doing all the things you want, then wouldn't you want him to be at the top of his game? And not to quote MAGA on this one, but let's quote MAGA on this one. If Donald Trump is experiencing these problems, then who's really running the show? That should raise a whole bunch of questions. But here also, I want to remind people of this, is a shot of Donald Trump's hands. And you can see that a lot of times when he's sitting down these days, he keeps them covered. We know that he has a condition of his veins, and we know that his circulation isn't the best. He's probably, getting blood drawn and getting IVs and getting different things. That's what happens when you age and get older. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just simply saying that why does he not get held to the same standard as everyone else? And why is it that they sweep it under the rug and try to gaslight us into believing that he's 6'3", 215 pounds? I used to have a picture of Muhammad Ali at 6'3", 215 pounds. I used to have it hanging behind me in my old place. And I mean, you put that image of him standing over Sonny Liston like that next to Donald Trump, ain't the same. I don't know who thinks that they are, but Donald Trump is the first president I've seen in my lifetime that when he gets asked a question, stutters all over himself and says, well, I'll have to ask somebody about that. That's the first time I'm hearing it. And again, yeah, Joe Biden stuttered. I never said that he didn't. I never said Joe Biden didn't stutter. Joe Biden had to stutter his whole life and worked to overcome it. And Joe Biden grew old right in front of our faces. We saw it. And we're watching Donald Trump grow old. But one side watched Joe Biden grow old and criticized every move he made, and then watched the dude at the same age, not off during a memorial ceremony, have bruises on his hands, have his ankles that big around, and have a vein disease, and they just act like, oh no, he's perfect. Oh, he's great. And that's why that I say you're in an alternate reality. there has to come a point where people, I always like, how can I put this? When I say things, I automatically, if I put something out into the world, I'm thinking about how that MAGA could rebut me. I'm thinking about what their rebuttal could be. So if I say, boy, the president needs to be physically fit, we need to have a president in there that's just the most physically fit dude. We need 6'3", 215-pound Muhammad Ali. That's what we need. If I say that, then I don't need to bring out Bluto from Animal House to run. You know what I mean? And so when I say things, I'm automatically thinking about how it's going to be perceived and how that it could be, what the rebuttal could be. So if you're going to run on a president, it has to be in the most top-notch health. Why in the name of God did you run Donald Trump? There's no consistency. There's just no consistency. And when I see someone, sitting there going to bat for a certain issue and making it their entire identity, when I see people talking about cheaper eggs, and we heard people talk about eggs more last year than we've ever heard them talked about. I didn't even know that many people ate eggs. But we heard cheaper eggs, cheaper eggs, cheaper eggs, cheaper eggs. I wrote a song about it, called it Cheaper Eggs. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. And now the prices aren't any lower. And they stopped talking about it. Inflation's going up. They stopped talking about inflation. Donald Trump nods off. Donald Trump's mouth droops. Donald Trump's ankle swells. Donald Trump's hands are bruised. They stopped talking about the president's health. That's all I'm saying. There's no logic here. There's no logic. If I say something, if I make a claim and put it out into the world, and I say this is important to me, then it should apply no matter who the president is. It should be the same. The same amount of coverage right now should be being gave to Donald Trump and his health as it was to Joe Biden if the health of the president is one of your main concerns. If that's what you wanted to sit and talk about, it would be, all you got to do now is just switch gears and say, yeah, we still have an old president. We still have a president declining right in front of our face. We still have a president growing old right in front of our face. You don't have a young dude out there. You don't have a spring chicken. So where is the logic here? And that's pretty much what my channel and my mind is. I want to make this clear. I love Aaron Parnas, but I don't break the news like Aaron does. And I don't know how he does it. Shout out to that dude. How he does it, and he looks tired in some of his videos. And I had him on the show and talked to him about it. And I said, Aaron, how do you do it? And he said that he works hard to stay on top of his mental health. But I don't break the news in the style that Aaron does it. I react to the news after it's happened. And I'm just the man that's sitting there. There's an old saying that says the only thing funnier than watching a man go crazy is watching a man watch a man go crazy. I'm the guy who's watching the man watch a man go crazy. I'm that guy. I'm sitting back just watching what's happening in this world, and I'm just pointing and going, hey, that don't look right to me. I'm not an expert on anything. No one should take their medical advice from me. I don't have a college degree, but I'm not out there demonizing college either, and I'm not telling people that it's a scam either. What education I have, I pretty much got from the high school that I went to, and then I got on my own by educating myself and doing the best that I could with this world. But I'm very aware of what I say and put out into the world, and if I take a stand and say something is meaningful to me, then I'm not going to turn around and embrace someone who goes against everything that I just said. That wouldn't make any sense. There will come the day that the Democrats will put the nominees up in front of us, and we will have to pick a front runner as to who's going to run in 2028. I'm a person who believes in freedom and believes in democracy and believes in women's rights and believes that gay and trans people should be able to live the life they were born to live. Now, if all of a sudden the Democrats put out a nominee who says, no, I don't think women should have control over anything. I think women should just be barefoot and pregnant and in the kitchen. I'm not going to just come out here and go, oh, yeah, everybody support that guy. Because I realize that you all could go back and find countless clips of me saying that I believed women should have control over their own bodies. So to me, that's how MAGA looks. That's how ridiculous they look when they spend 4 years talking about Joe Biden's health, only to flip it now and completely ignore everything that I just showed them. They get mad at me for saying they live in an alternate reality. But what else can you call it at this point? Again, folks, I do want to thank y'all so much for supporting what it is that I do here on the channel, and we'll continue to do it, and we'll get to 1 million subscribers eventually, and I appreciate y'all so much. I want you to know that, the YouTuber, the content creator, they're always encouraged to share your stuff, click the link, hit the like button, all those things, and I try my best to throw those things in there. But I always want to say this to you first and foremost. Take care of your mental health first. Take care of you and your family. We're living through some dark times. It affects everybody differently. If you need to take a break, take a break. Walk away, unplug. Go spend time with your family, spend time with your children. Hug them a little bit closer. You're going to have to hold on to them a little bit longer the next time. Make that hug last, because we live in a world where we never know if it's going to be the last one we ever give them. So take care of yourself. Take care of your family. Take time out if you need to. And when you get back in, just pick back up with me where I left off, and don't go back and torture yourself with the 10 videos that you missed. I'm not expecting you to click on every one of them. I want to see you do well. I want to see you do good. And I just want to see a voice of reason in this world. And that's the platform that we have built here together, is just one that is trying to be a voice of reason in a mad and crazy world. And I appreciate y'all so much for coming along on this ride. We will come out on the other side, even though I know it feels hopeless, especially these days. It feels pretty dark and hopeless, but we have to stand strong, and we will, and we'll make it. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you for listening.